Tuesday, November 20th, 2018. It's about 4:10 in the afternoon. Mike Christian. I'm here with Thomas Smith. Thomas, do I call you Thomas? Tom, what do I call you?
You can call me either.
Okay. Well,
Typically Tom.
all right. So here with Tom Smith. Tom, we're here to talk about the party you went to at y'all's friend John Myers on the 3rd, spilled over into the 4th of November, and kind of specifically talk about the death of Tamla Horsford, but just start in general, and I may have some more pointed questions later. How did y'all come to be at the party? What time did you get there? Just in general, tell me about going to the party.
So my wife Stacy was planning the party for Jean. She sent out the invitations and contacted some of the girls regarding it. Was kind of back and forth with a couple of them regarding them coming and not coming. And then so she had contacted some of the girls. She went a little bit before I did. I think maybe she went around 6 o'clock or so. She had another party that she was that she had planned the same day. She kind of found out about Jean's after she had already planned the other one. So she left from one and went to the other. She left, I guess, the house maybe around 6 o'clock. I'm not sure exactly when she got there, but she, as far as I know, she went straight there.
And y'all drove separate then?
Yes.
Okay.
We drove. Actually, she rode with somebody else, and then I drove her car later when I went. And I had talked with Jose, Sean's boyfriend, and we just hung out. He sent me a text earlier in that night saying that he was going over there.
Right.
He was just going to watch football in the basement. Wanted to know if I wanted to come over, because basically some of the people that were at the party at my house were hanging out there, and I didn't need to be hanging around.
Right.
So I went over probably about 8:30, 8:45.
Okay.
Jose and I hung out in the basement, watched football until halftime. We were flipping back and forth between a couple different games. Halftime, I think we came up for a little bit and then went and grabbed some ice for the girls and came back and kind of hung out and watched football.
Right. Just maybe a simple question. What football game was on?
We were watching Georgia. And I don't even remember who they were playing, to be honest with you, but we were watching the Georgia game, and then we were also watching the Notre Dame game. Actually, the Georgia game was over. We were watching Notre Dame, and
What were the girls watching? What game?
they were watching I think they were watching Alabama LSU, maybe.
Okay.
That sounds right, because John's an LSU fan. So.
Right. So, y'all went and got ice. Everybody's just hanging out. Tell me about the rest of the night.
So we went and got ice. After that, we came back. I think we hung out upstairs for a little while, went back downstairs, watched some more football. Later in the evening, we kind of migrated back upstairs. We're hanging out with the girls a little bit. They were kind of doing their thing, taking pictures and just, having some drinks and talking and chatting and everything else and just having a good time.
Right.
I think around maybe 11:30, a couple of the other girls started to leave. We hung out for a little while, just kind of watching football and sitting on the couch and eating in the kitchen and, nothing crazy or anything like that. It was pretty low key. Nobody was getting rowdy or anything like that. It was just everybody was having a good time, and that was about it, really.
Do you remember what time y'all went to bed?
We went to bed, it was like right after 1:30. I want to say it was 1:37 for some reason. I remember looking at the clock, but I don't know that that's exactly right. But nobody was, really messed up. I'd had 2 mixed drinks and a couple of shots later in the evening, but nothing strong, nothing major. And I'm not a big drinker anyway.
Right.
I don't typically like drink a lot. Socially, that's it, really. So we went to bed about 1:30 or so. Woke up the next morning I woke up maybe about 7:30, went to the bathroom, woke Stacy up about 8, and we got our stuff and left. We had noticed that Tam's car was still in the driveway, and we had talked about her driving or not driving the night before, and I had actually mentioned to Tam that she should, just stay and sleep it off and go back the next morning.
Right. Did you have much interaction with Tam that night?
A little bit that night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nothing more than anybody else, just kind of talking and having a good time. And, she liked to talk football and sports and
Right.
everything else too. So, she's a sweet lady, and she was, and willing to talk about anything to anybody about anything at all.
If you told me earlier I didn't write it down, which means automatically I don't remember it, what time did you get there?
I got there probably about 8:45,
Okay.
8:30, somewhere in there.
All right. You and Stacy stayed in the same room, correct?
Yes, we stayed in John's daughter's room upstairs.
Do you smoke cigarettes?
No.
Do you remember Tam going outside to smoke throughout the evening?
A couple of times. I think she was one of the only ones that smoked.
Right.
There may have been one or two other girls that smoked occasionally, but I don't think they were like smokers.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't really even remember Tam being like a smoker during the week.
Right.
I think I actually remember her making a comment of where, she kind of smoked whenever she drank, but that was what she did.
Okay. And it's been said by enough people, and I don't know any reason to doubt it, that she had smoked some marijuana out back. Were you present for that, or were you aware of that?
No, I was not.
Okay. And so the next morning, you got up about when?
I got up probably about 7:30, went to the bathroom,
Okay.
laid back down with Stacy for maybe about 20-30 minutes,
Right.
and then kind of woke her up at 8, and then we kind of got our stuff, and I remember I think I grabbed a crock pot or something like that,
Okay.
and then we left in her car and went home, got cleaned up, and that's when Jean called shortly thereafter.
Okay. Do you remember when you got up, who was awake?
Nobody was awake when we left.
Okay.
Not that we know of. We didn't see anybody.
Okay.
It didn't even sound like anybody was up, moving around or anything like that. We just kind of got our stuff together and left.
Who was still awake when you went to bed the night before?
I know Jean and Jose went upstairs, and Paula was upstairs the same time that we were. I think that Jen and Marcy, I think Jen had already gone to bed, and Marcy probably as well, I'm not sure.
Okay.
And then I know Tam was up, and Bridget was up.
Okay.
But Jean's Aunt Modi,
Right.
she had gone downstairs way earlier.
Okay.
Maybe around, 10 or 11. I'm not sure exactly.
Do you remember what was being drunk at the party?
Do I remember what?
What people were drinking?
So, Jen was drinking quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Not necessarily how much, but what exactly? What beverage?
I know Stacy was drinking, I think, like vodka and ginger beer.
Mm-hmm.
Because she had actually asked if we would try and find some more ginger beer, which we couldn't find, so we didn't get anything. That was when we went and got ice. But I don't know who else was drinking that with her. I want to say maybe Jean was drinking that as well.
Okay.
I think Jen was drinking wine. Not sure on Marcy. I don't know what Paula was drinking. I know Tam was drinking tequila. And then I don't know what Jose was drinking.
Okay.
Probably beer, if I had to guess.
Right.
I know he wasn't doing any shots or anything like that. And I don't think he was mixing drinks. So I think maybe he was drinking beer. I'm not positive on that. Not a lot, by any means.
What have I not asked you that you can think of, or is there something you want to add that I hadn't touched on?
I mean, as far as the overall evening, there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing that we haven't already discussed.
Everybody's getting along, no signs of friction.
None
Nothing.
whatsoever. Especially, Tam's not that type of person either. I mean, she was
How do you
nice
know
to
her?
everybody. So, Stacy and I both have actually known Tam and her husband for probably about 4 years.
Okay.
Our boys played basketball together.
Right.
Our boys played football together. My son is also pretty close friends with most of their boys.
Mm-hmm.
The older three boys. Within the last probably last year, Tam and Stacy have gotten a lot closer, and even more so probably within the last 2 months or so.
Right.
Up until obviously the third. Yeah, I always knew her as a sweet person who was going to tell you the truth, whether you liked it or not,
Right.
and would do anything for anybody, really. I wish I knew, her husband better, and she was kind of trying to get the four of us to hang out and stuff, but I didn't really get a chance to know him quite as well, just because I would see Tam at football, 2 nights a week or 3 nights a week, and I just knew Tam better than I knew Lee, but
Right. I don't know of anything else to ask you that we have not covered or just pops into my mind. I think that's it. We'll go ahead and we'll conclude the interview. It's about 4:25.